In this video, I'm going to give you a brief overview of the A2 unit. So as you know, we're finishing up the A1 unit. You're working on your A1 paper. You're going to turn that in soon. And then next week, we're going to start on A2. So let's look at the writing as a conversation model graphic here. We've been focusing mostly on listening to the conversation. So we've been talking about strategies for reading closely and critically. I've given you a number of things to read. You've picked an article, and you're giving me a reflection, which is kind of joining the conversation. But for your summary, you're really just relating to me what the thesis is, what the purpose was. And so we're really just doing the listening part. A2 is an argument paper, and you're going to do each step. So we're going to do more listening. You're going to do some research. You're going to read some articles, maybe listen to podcasts, watch videos. Then you're going to expand. You're going to pick a topic. You're going to go deeper into that topic, think really critically about it, try to learn various perspectives on it. And then eventually you're going to join the conversation by writing an argument paper. So you have to pick a topic related to current events. I'm going to define that pretty broadly, but just stuff that's relevant right now. And we'll have Idea Day a week from today on February 17th, where you'll each pick an article or a podcast to read or listen to, and then you'll write a short summary, and in class we'll share those as a way to generate ideas. You don't have to choose something from Idea Day to write about, but it's a way, if you're feeling overwhelmed, you don't know what you're going to write about, this can help you. Here are some specifications of the A2 paper. Its genre is a researched argument. It's our longest paper. It's 1,500 to 1,800 words. The audience is a specific stakeholder that you pick. And we're going to talk about how to pick an audience. We're going to talk about what a stakeholder is. But basically, you might think generally like in high school, you were writing papers just to your teacher. Here, you're going to be writing with an audience in mind, a specific audience that you're trying to convince of your argument. This is also the most heavily weighted paper. In addition to being the longest, it's 30% of your grade. And remember, all our major papers are half how well you've achieved the objectives of the paper and half process work, the small homeworks, the workshop, the Wednesday activities. So you want to make sure you're keeping up with those because they can really boost your grade if you're getting them all done. There are, other than writing about current events, there's 4 criteria you have to meet. One is that you should pick something you're genuinely interested in. The reason for that is you write your A2 and your A3 paper generally on the same topic or maybe a different angle on that topic. And so if you pick something that's just what somebody said at Idea Day and it seems easy, you're going to get really bored and frustrated. And then I'm going to get frustrated. And so you should take a little extra time at the beginning here. Try to find something that you have a lot of interest in so you can spend the next, 8 or 9 or 10 weeks really invested in it. You want an issue that's exigent. We'll talk more about that too, but that just means like urgent and important. And you would want to frame that in the context of your audience. You'd have to make it urgent or seem important to your audience. A focused issue, so not something super broad, but one that you can find published information on. Sometimes people find something that's really, really narrow and obscure, and they can't find enough research, and then you can't really do a research paper. So it has to satisfy these 4. We're also going to be doing annotations. That's going to be a homework assignment, though a big one, and you're going to do 2. And basically, it's a way of prepping for the paper by figuring out how to find sources, cite them, understand them, and then synthesize them, which means bring them together in order to make a larger argument. We'll have plenty of class time to talk about that. It'll be an assignment due on March 12th, and so that's just something that's coming. Before the end of the video here, I just want to share my screen and show you the assignment sheet. We're not going to go through too much of it here, but I want to show you your workshop draft of the paper is going to be due March 24th. This says 25% of your grade. It's actually 30. So it's going to be 30% of your grade. Your comments are due Friday, March 26th, and your final draft is due Sunday, March 28th. So I know that's way out, it's a bit far for planning, but I just want you to have those dates in your mind. That's how long the unit's going to be. It's when it's going to be due. And a last thing I want to focus on here, um, audience, of course, we're going to talk more, but you're going to pick your stakeholder audience, your specific audience that you want to appeal to. Um, and you're going to have to know a lot about them and find ways to appeal specifically to them. So not every audience can be appealed to in the same way. In fact, if you have a specific audience, there's going to be things that will be especially appealing. You're going to have to figure those out. And then the last thing I want to talk about is purpose. The purpose of this paper, your purpose is probably to get a good grade and do well in the class. But the purpose of the argument paper is to persuade your audience to accept your claim. So it's a little bit different from a proposal, which we'll talk about in Unit 3. But for this, you're going to develop an inquiry question, research that question, use your research to come up with a claim, and then you're going to defend that claim. And your goal is to pick a specific audience and convince them that you're right. That's the goal of the A2 paper. And that's what we're going to be working on over the next about 6 weeks of the semester.